Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the brand new series that I've started on my channel. Um, this series is titled Cornerstones of My Childhood. And basically, if you didn't watch the intro video from the intro video that I made for the series, basically, I'm going to be talking about the events and kind of like the things that shaped my childhood, essentially, and also I guess shaped the like most of our childhoods because if you were born like in the early mid 2000s like I was, then we kind of had the same childhood in terms of movies, TV shows, all that stuff. That's basically the kind of stuff that I'm going to be talking about, but also going to be talking about the people that I've met along the way, the type of antics and trouble that I used to get up to as a kid. Basically, just reminiscing on the good old days, because growing up, it's it's a bit challenging. This life is challenging, and we tend to do our best just to like huddle down and just like push forward, push forward. But sometimes it's nice to take a breather and look back on the good times. Not to like dwell in them and like 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 sit in it the whole time. Not like being stuck like in the mud, basically. But like just to think about. It's nice to think about the good old days. So that's basically what I'm doing on my series, just looking back at my childhood, and I guess the childhood that many of us probably shared. If you were born around the same time that I was, I'm in '06, so if you were born '04, '05, '06, '07, we probably basically had the same childhood. So yeah, and yeah, I guess for this video, I'm just gonna be, I'm just gonna be talking, basically. Being a kid, man, being a kid was so much fun. You know, when you're a kid, there's kind of like this level of like carefree nature that you carry inside of you. You're a kid, you can kind of just do whatever. You just sit and you know you're in class. Maybe you go to school, right? You're sitting in class. You're doing some work. A bit of math here, a little bit English here. Um, but school isn't overbearing for you. It's not like overwhelming. Basically, what I'm trying to say, like being a kid, you don't think about school too much because school is just kind of there. You go to school, you do this, and this, and then you come back home. And you just kind of have fun. You know what I mean? Like as a high schooler, like when I was in high school, I graduated end of last year. Um, when you're in high school, right? You you kind of like go to school. You're in school for about 6, 7 hours, depending where you are in the world, and then you come home and there's still more homework. There's still more tasks to do. There's still you have to write a speech for next week because you're doing a presentation, or you have to write an essay, or you have to plan this essay, or you have to study for like exams. When you're a kid, it's very different, right? And when I mean kid, I mean like pre-pubescent, so like 12 and under. Like I remember like my day, like the good old days, like first grade, second grade. Like I would go to school, I'd come back home, and then I lived in a complex. I lived in a complex at the time, so I would come home and I would just go outside and play with my friends in the complex. We would just hang out. And I literally was outside the whole afternoon. And then I'd come back, and then, well, I wouldn't want to go back because I had so much fun outside. But then I'd go home and be a bit mopey, whatever, right? But then I have to take a bath, and then have to get changed, and then eat dinner, and then go to bed, right? It's it's really nice. it's really warm. It's really comforting. Like being a kid is like really warm and like super soft, you know? Like everything about being a kid was just so bubbly, so like exciting, so enjoyable. Yes, of course there was some like detractors to being a kid, obviously, right? But you don't have as much freedom, things like that, right? Really, you're really just like dependent fully on your parents, right? And even now, I'm still kind of dependent on my parent, but it's to a lesser degree, right? But that's just like a detractor. Those are just a few detractors, right? For the most part, being a kid is like freaking awesome. Um, like being able to come back home. If you did have homework, then maybe you do homework for like 10, 20 minutes. Like it was easy homework you could knock out. And then afterwards, you just like watch TV or you go play outside with your friends. Like it was just so different. The world was so much more colorful, I guess, when we were kids, essentially. Like the world feels a bit bleaker nowadays because our minds have developed and we're starting to see things from a very different light, a very different perspective, essentially, right? Like we're starting to see the more negative aspects of the world and how this goes on and this and this and this happens to these people, and it's very tragic. It's very sad, right? And obviously, our minds developing makes us more intelligent, of course, right? But sometimes you just want to be a dumb kid, you know? Like when you're a kid, like okay, maybe you're smart in school, sure, but you're not actually like an intelligent person. You just kind of having fun. You're just goofing off, you know? And I mean, it's kind of I mean, depending on what type of person you are, maybe you preferred to be more on the intelligent side, maybe you preferred to be on the less intelligent side. I don't know, like right? Like I mean, maybe you prefer where you are now in life as to compared to where you were before, right? I would definitely say that my life is much like I'm a much better person now than when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, oof, yeah, there was definitely some. I definitely had some some issues to say the least. Um, but like sometimes you just want to go back to those days where you didn't really know much. Like when I was 7 or 8 years old, I didn't know nothing about like what was going on in the news. Like I would see my parents watching the news, but I never watched the news myself. And to this day, I still don't watch the news. The reason is because the news is just like extremely negative. Like yeah, I know a lot of bad things happen in the world, but the news is genuinely like they like media companies like they are literally controlling like what is being reported and what can be reported on the news, right? They're not going to report everything that happens in the world. They're not going to report any positive stuff. The reason why people watch the news is because negative news drives engagement. So they're always going to talk about something bad that's happening in the country. They're always going to talk about inflation. They're always going to talk about like somebody being murdered, someone like somebody's place was broken into and robbed, store was burnt down. Like they're never gonna like report on anything positive. And there's a lot of positive stuff that happens on a day-to-day basis, but nobody cares about that. People just want to hear about all the bad stuff that's happening. And it sounds crazy to say that people want to hear about all the bad stuff that's happening, but it's true, you know? If it wasn't true, then millions and millions of people wouldn't be watching the news if they just didn't want to hear about bad stuff. Of course they want to hear about bad stuff. Like it's strange to say that people want to hear about bad things, but people do want to hear about bad things. Like that's why they watch the news. Like I mean, if people wanted to hear about good stuff, they wouldn't watch the news because the news doesn't report on good stuff. But that's besides the point. Like as a kid, you didn't know anything. You know, I didn't know anything about what was going on in the news. I just knew um, going outside, playing with Legos, watching cartoons, um, playing with my friends. I went to Sunday school, so I went to Sunday school. I knew Sunday school, and that's pretty much that was pretty much my entire life. Like obviously there was some interesting, cool stuff that's happened here and there, like throughout my childhood. But my childhood is just made up of like like comforting like things. Like it was just very comfy, you know? Like as a kid you basically kind of like go through life on like a cushion essentially, right? You go down a slide and it's like a cushion, and then when you're a teenager, young adult, they kind of take the cushion away, and then when you're fully adult, like in your late 20s to early 30s, going on and on, yeah, it turns from a slide into like a, I don't know, a flippin' like death chamber or something. I don't know. Like it just gets harder and harder, right? So being a kid is flippin' awesome, right? And I remember I used to say that I wanted to be a grown up. Like back when I was a kid, I used to say I want to be a grown up so bad, and I enjoy. I want to be able to like have my own place. I want to go to bed as late as I want because I used to complain about like going to bed so early. I used to go to bed at like 8 p.m. or something. And then obviously as I got older, that time gradually like changed. I think nowadays I genuinely just sleep whenever my body feels ready to sleep. If I'm ready to, I mean, if I'm ready to go to bed at 8:30, like sometimes, like if it's 8:30, bro, and like my body is not feeling tired enough, done all my work for the day, I'll literally just go to sleep. I'll literally just jump into bed. Maybe I'll watch a YouTube video or two, and then I'll fall asleep. Like literally, that's it. But if let's say my friends are online, like I don't really game that much anymore. But like if my friends are on like the game or something, like we'll game until like maybe 12. And then after 12, like I'm out. Like so it really just depends nowadays. But I used to complain about like wanting to go to bed early and whatnot. About not wanting to go to bed early. So I say, oh, I want to be an adult so that I can choose my own bedtime, right? And then my parents would always tell me like, yo, um, trust me, being an adult is flipping lame, you know? They wouldn't obviously didn't say it like that, but like, being an adult is flipping lame, right? And I mean, I'm only 19. I still stay with my mom, right? I'm still living with my mom, right? So I haven't reached financial freedom yet by any means, right? But at 19, I'm already starting to see exactly what she's saying. Like, being an adult sucks, dude. Like, it actually sucks. Legally, I'm an adult. I still live under my mom's roof, you know? She still pays for groceries and everything, but, like, I've started picking up some of the slack, you know? I'm cleaning the kitchen, you know? I'm cooking the food. I'm cooking some of the food now, right? I'm cooking dinner for me and my mom, right? So it's like, I'm taking on a lot more responsibility, and I can already start to see what she meant when she told me as a kid that like, yo, being an adult's low key not nice, bro. Like I can already feel it, bro. I don't even have my own place yet, but just like cooking and cleaning, like make sure the kitchen's clean and like cooking dinner, like it's not easy, bro. Like genuinely, it's not easy. I enjoy cooking. I like cooking. It's nice, but it is not easy, bro. Um, and especially with my mom because like she's like a really good cook, so like if she doesn't like your meal, like it has to be like your meal has to be really good. If she doesn't like your meal, you're cooked, bro. That's it. Yeah, you're cooked. So yeah. Um, yeah. So she was definitely right. I'm already starting to feel it. At 19 years old, I can already feel it. Like she's right, bro. Like being an adult is terrible, right? Being a kid is flipping awesome. And I feel like me and many other people have taken being a kid for granted. I think a lot of us have taken being a kid for granted. Because like when you're a kid, you want to grow up so bad, you want to grow up so bad. And then when you're an adult, you look back and you realize, oh shoot, you know what? Being a kid was actually low key kind of nice, bro. Your mom driving you everywhere. Like I'm getting my license. Like I'm getting my license at the end of this year, and um, like I don't like driving, dude. Driving is like I don't like driving at all, bro. Um, but I gotta get my license, you know. So yeah, it's really really tough being an adult. It's actually kind of lame. It's really really lame. Um, obviously there's some advantages to it, of course, but dude, being an adult is just yeah, no. Being a kid is way 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 better. Um, and again, just going back to that whole thing of like the world being more colorful. Like really, really think about it. Like if you were to take like a childhood memory, or maybe you've had like a dream recently of from when you were like of you as like as a kid, right? Like try to visualize. I'm bringing in a lot of like creativity and like artistic imagination here, right? Really try to use your head and just try to paint a picture in your head, a colorful, like a picture of the world that you used to see when you were a kid. It was a bit brighter, right? It was a bit more colorful. The sky was a bit lighter than it normally is, right? Now everything looks kind of gray and dull, and when I was a kid, like this thing with color, like when I was a kid, I used to want like orange clothes, like yellow clothes. I asked my mom to buy me like orange t-shirts and yellow t-shirts. Nowadays, I wear like darker colors. Like even if I'm wearing a lighter color, like a green or a blue, I ask for a darker version of that, like green or blue. Like I wear black most of the time. I wear black, gray, maybe some white, but white isn't really like a light color. It's more like a blank canvas, basically, right? I'm always wearing like the same three colors. It's either navy, black, or white. That's literally all I wear. I don't wear any like orange. I don't do any like like crazy like, bright yellows or like bright red. With the exception of a few clothing items, but generally like I just wear like a lot of like darker colors, brighter colors, but darker shades of those brighter colors. So yeah, it goes further than just like how you looked at the world. It's even like how you dress. Because as a kid, you just dressed however you wanted. You didn't care about what people thought about you, right? Because you're just a kid. But now it's like, oh nah, bro, I gotta make sure that I gotta make sure my friends like love the fit. I want them to peep the fit. You know what I'm saying? The shoes got to be perfect. I'm gonna wear my dunks, and I'm gonna wear like these specific jeans. I'm gonna wear this hoodie. Like you want to look cool, like in front of your friends. You want to look cool in front. You want to get compliments from people. Like you dress a certain way so that you can get compliments and attention from other people. And I'm not like saying that as a good or bad thing, right? I do it too, right? I've definitely leveled up in terms of how I dress compared to when I was a kid. We all have pretty much, right? Unless you're just one of those people who just like always wanted to wear like the same Minions t-shirt even as an adult. You can do whatever you want, man. Honestly, I don't care, right? Um, but yeah, it's really interesting to look back at. Like think about the clothes that you used to wear, and then think about like what you wear now, right? It's very very different. It should be very very different. So it's interesting. I think, in all honesty, I think being a kid is definitely it's a relatively positive experience. Like being a kid is great, man. Like think about how excited you used to get at like Christmas time, right? Like as like nowadays I still do get excited like when it's Christmas, you know what I'm saying? Like cuz my mom still loves, like my mom is like the best, man. She'll still like, even as me as a 19-year-old, she still wants to buy me like a nice like nice big gifts for Christmas. Like that's something I really really appreciate. Um so my mom's the best. Um but as a kid, you would be so much more excited, like for Christmas, for example, right? Than you would now. Like nowadays, like I think my excitement for Christmas, the moment I move out, my excitement for Christmas is just gonna go out of the window completely. Like there will just be nothing left. I will not be excited for Christmas anymore. Like Christmas to me will just be some like boring holiday, and that's in terms of not in terms of what Christmas is, like the symbolic value of Christmas, because in terms of what it symbolizes, it's very important, and I will always like hold it dear to my heart because that is the day of birth of Jesus Christ. So that to me will always be super sentimental. That will be always be super important, and that'll always be the most important aspect of Christmas for the rest of my life, obviously, because it's the day of the birth of Jesus Christ. But like the excitement over the festivities, basically, is kind of just like it's just like, oh, okay. Um, Future Christmases, until I have my own family. Once I have my own family, then Christmas will be exciting again because then I get to spoil my kids with Christmas presents. Then I get to spoil my wife with gifts, and I mean, hopefully, they spoil me too. You know what I'm saying? Because I could use me some. I could use me some presents. I'm still gonna 30 years old, 35 years old. I'm still gonna want the latest Marvel Lego set. You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna want the latest Star Wars set. So hey man, if they want to get, hey man, if you want to pop over by the Lego store, So yeah, but in the period from when I move out up until I actually have like start a family, I find and marry my wife, and we have a family. In between that time period, there's probably not going to be much excitement. Um, as compared to when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to get excited for Christmas, man. I would jump. I would like jump for joy, bro. December, huh? It was the best. And the reason why it was so good is because a lot of Christmases I actually spent at my grandmother's house, and it was always so special. Like even every school holiday, like those are some of the best memories of my childhood. Like spending school holidays at my grandmother's. It was just, it was amazing, man. And she was taken away from me so soon, which basically kind of shattered um, like a big piece of my heart, and I still miss her every single day. And part of making this video and even making this series was just thinking about looking back at all of the best memories of my childhood. And I would just see my grandmother there, you know? Um, Christmases at her house are always so amazing. Like, you wake up in the morning, there's music playing on the TV, the Christmas tree's up, our presents. We already knew what presents we were getting because, like, we just knew. There was no, oh, I wonder who bought this for you. Now we knew. We told our parent, we like, even as a 9-year old, I told my mom what I wanted for Christmas and she'd buy it. So, um, it was nice, you know? And, um, there's other times where I'd spend Christmas at my. There was one Christmas I spent, which is probably the best Christmas I've ever had, at um, my friend, one of my close family friends. His mom used to own a farm. I think they still own it technically. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's still in their name or not, but that's where they used to live. And we spent one Christmas there. Like we slept over for like the weekend leading up to Christmas, and like obviously that week of Christmas. Like we just spent like multiple days there during that Christmas period. And that was the best Christmas ever because I woke up and I got to hang out with my friends like every single day. And because I'm like close friends, they're still like close to me to this day. It was like those guys like my brothers. There's my blood brother, there's my brother in Christ, and there's those guys too. They're also my brothers. Like just have brothers and sisters all around me. So those Christmases were always the best. Well, that Christmas specifically was the best. And the Christmases before that and after that have also been really great. Um, but when you're a kid, that level of excitement that you get when Christmas rolls around, you can never really replicate that when you get older. I think it's almost impossible. The only time it comes close is to when you have your own family and you have your own children that you can spoil. Because now instead of having expectations of getting something, now you can be the one to give to your children. You're the one, you can now spoil your children with gifts. You can buy your child nice gifts now. You can buy your children nice gifts now. So it's never really the same once you get older, right? Like even if I get excited for Christmas now because I know my mom's the best, she still buys me gifts. She still buys my brother gifts. Like it's great. We still do like Christmas, like the good old fashioned way. We have like Christmas lunch, and we have put up the tree. We still put up the tree, and it's great. It's awesome. But the excitement that I have now can never be like it'll never be as high as the excitement I had when I was 8 years old or 9 years old. It's just not the same. Um, so yeah, I mean, and I'm sure we all feel that way. You guys definitely probably feel that way too. Um, a lot of things change. A lot of things change, and some of us don't like change. I'm not a particular fan of change, but it's something that we have to go through. Um, and we can't be kids forever, unfortunately, but we can look back on those good times. And if you're still a kid now watching this, like if you're an 11-year-old watching this video, then you got to cherish like your childhood, bro. Because once you become like a teenager and once you get to high school, dude, like it's not fun anymore, bro. It's not fun. I mean, there's still cool. You can still do cool stuff, you know. I've tried to make the most of my teen years, which are sadly coming to an end. Because in a couple of months I'll be like I'll be 20. So yeah, but and I'm gonna make a lot of great memories in my 20s too. So I'm excited for that chapter of my life too. But um, when you're a kid, like you gotta cherish like those years, man. Because that teenager phase, like 13 and 19 years old, it can be brutal if you're not surrounded by the right group of people. Like if you're not in the right friend group, if your morals and values aren't like in the right place, and and if your definition of fun is like vaping and like smoking and all that stuff, dude, you're not gonna have a fun time in your teenage years, bro. Um, but if you're with a good group of people and you guys are hanging out doing fun stuff and you're enjoying each other's company, enjoying each other's presence, and you're just around a group of people that you really care about a lot, and they care about you, and they're genuine friends, and you guys could literally just be gaming like on a Discord call, and that would be like the highlight of your entire week. Then then your teenage years are gonna be great. Um, but if you're still a kid now watching this, don't take being a kid for granted, man. Because I took my childhood for granted, and it it definitely messed me up because now I'm at a stage where like I'm discovering I'm discovering like I'm doing things in a certain way that I should have been doing as a kid, but I wasn't because I I didn't like really fully like lead like I didn't fully like lead into like being a kid as a kid. I wanted to be grown up so bad. I wanted to be like adult so bad. Um so if you're a kid right now watching this, just keep being a kid, bro. Don't try to be grown. Don't try to act grown, all right? You're a kid. Just be a kid. Cuz now I'm like discovering things and I'm like, going about things in a certain way that I should have been as a kid. And I'm doing it now because I didn't get to enjoy being a kid as much as I should have. I definitely enjoyed being a kid, and there was definitely some like major highlights of my childhood, but there was definitely something lacking, right? And there was definitely like a certain like a certain like fire that was lacking that I'm only discovering now. And I think one of the good things that came about me not fully leading into being a kid as a kid is that I still have a lot of imagination. I still have a lot of creativity. I still have a lot of ideas that I would have had like as a kid that are still booming and bubbling in my brain now. So that's good. Um, but yeah, and if you have just like left your childhood years, like you're moving into like the teenage years now, don't lose that spark. Don't let that spark die out. All right. I know school's gonna get tougher. Um, Friend groups are gonna change. Things are gonna change, right? But don't lose that spark, because when you're a kid, you have like a special spark within you, right? And it's powerful, right? Don't lose that spark. Don't lose it, because like it's really really powerful, and there's a lot you can do with that spark, um, that will benefit you in like later years of your life. To keep that creative, like those creative juices flowing. If you're somebody who's a very like creative person, um, like a very like imaginative person like I am, then you got to keep that headspace of yours like as creatively open as possible. Keep wondering, like keep the daydreams going. Like obviously don't purposely daydream in class, right? But if your mind slips, like this is gonna be weird advice, but like let it slip. Because a lot of people find some of their best ideas while they're either sleeping or they're daydreaming about something, and it leads to them discover like having like a light bulb like moment where like they just discover something like, oh shoot, I could do this. And then it's just like they just get creative, they get into the zone, you know? So yeah, if you're a kid, keep being a kid, man. If you're not anymore, then I hope that you enjoyed your childhood as much as you should have. And if you didn't, then that's okay. Because now as an adult, you can make your mission to make your adult years as amazing, as fun, as like amazing, like as awesome as possible. That's all we can really do. If your childhood was terrible, if your childhood was like awful, like you had an awful, awful childhood that was like, um, that it was filled with like terrible, terrible events, like really terrible events, then make sure that your adult years are as fun and as amazing as you would have wanted them to be when you were a kid. And I think that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to, as the first episode, I just wanted to talk about um, being a kid, I guess. Um, from the next episode, I will definitely be moving into my own personal childhood, but I just wanted to talk more broadly and more generally about childhood. Um, so yeah, kids keep being kids. Teenagers, life might be rough now, but if you're with a good group of people and you got a good head on your shoulders, you're gonna be fine. And for all my grown-ups out there, um, make adulthood as awesome as possible, and I will do the same. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.